For me, this isn't an old growth question because I think that's been satisfied here. It's this nagging worry I have that there's this window of age class that we are excluding from our future. We seem to harvest everything up from, say, 30 years, 40 years, up to 80 to 100 years. And then we have this 1850 thing we do. And so that stand, and again, Dan did a great job talking about how you can have a stand that's 175 years old, but trees that are younger. But I worry we are timing ourselves out of the possibility of adding inventory to old growth with that approach. And the only way we're ever going to do that, if that's the policy of this board someday, it wasn't in the past, it could be in the future, is to do more to preserve older legacy forests that are becoming structurally complex and become, really impactful places for species and all that. So for those reasons, I'm still not satisfied with the results of kind of where we're going on Auger and in particular, Susie Q. So I'll be voting no on the package, but again, Commissioner, I can't thank you enough for just having the decency of a process that allows us to have elevated questions instead of an all or nothing concept, because these are really hard and subtle conversations, and you've allowed that, and I deeply appreciate your leadership in that regard.
No, and I appreciate those comments very much. Additional discussion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nope. I would like to abstain.
Sure.
I would like to abstain.
We can do that as the new guy. Yep. And abstaining. There we go. Thank you. The motion is approved by a vote of 4-1 and 1.
Today's sales contain trees from 90 to over 200 years old. There are confirmed old growth trees in Susie Q and Auger Inn. Turnover is a rare unlogged primary forest opposed by Clark County. Suey overlaps lands publicly promised for conservation, and Leaping Thespian is one of the last mature complex forests in Independence Creek. And then further, the claim that these sales must proceed due to prior financial investment is concerning. DNR continues to invest money into new timber sales in legacy forests while simultaneously asserting that past investments obligate logging. And Commissioner Uppergrove, you've stated that you want the best of the best saved, and these ancient forests are exactly that.
Over the next 2 years, DNR is planning to auction off many of the last remaining stands of century-old, structurally complex forest in the South Puget Sound lowlands and the Willapa-Chehalis and North River watersheds. As a previous speaker mentioned, the agency argues that it has no choice but to log these forests because too much money has been spent preparing them for auction, and DNR has no other stands ready to offer for harvest at this time. This is the same excuse we've been hearing year after year for the last 5 years. During his election campaign, the current lands commissioner, to his credit, recognized this as the imminent crisis that it is and pledged to stop logging legacy forests and reschedule and plan new timber sales to offset the resulting short-term loss of revenue while the agency worked to develop long-term solutions to this problem. DNR now claims to have found more structurally complex forest than it needs to meet its habitat objectives. But almost all of the so-called forests that DNR has mapped in southwest Washington are, in fact, narrow, isolated stream buffers, which are not forests and do not provide the kind of interior forest habitat that is required by species associated with structurally complex forests. Because the commissioner appears to be captive to, or at the mercy of, a small group of entrenched DNR staff, it is up to the board to direct DNR to extend the pause on the logging of structurally complex forests and at long last develop forest land plans that lay out a strategy for protecting and restoring structurally complex and old-growth forests in accordance with the HCP, a necessary prerequisite to the development of a sustainable harvest calculation, which should serve which should be subordinate to the forest land plans and not the other way around. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Calder Jennings Mapp. I'm here to speak out against the sale and logging of the legacy forests up for auction. I am 17 years old and have lived my whole life unable to vote. But that whole time I have seen those which I could not vote against steal and betray my generation and my future. I've seen people use short-sighted reasoning to abandon me and my peers in search of temporary gain, and I'm here to say, stop. The trees that you're trying to sell belong to the government, belong to the people, and likewise, decisions made with these trees affect the people for a long time. I'm not ignorant. I know that we need lumber, but this sale is not the way to do it. If the industry depends upon the destruction of an ever-diminishing resource, is that industry really sustainable? The trees that may be sold today will one day become a national treasure for my generation and for my children's generation. These trees are our cultural heritage. It doesn't feel good to have that taken away. So yes, you may cloud the discussion with trusts and fiduciary responsibilities, weave a narrative about profits and economic growth and long-term industrial benefit. But who benefits from this sale today, right now? And who pays the price in the future? I'd say the answer to both of those questions are rather telling, because the voters, the people, my generation aren't really being prioritized.